Hello, everyone. We made it, everybody. 1,000 subscribers after, what is it, like 2 years and 9 months or so. I think I created the channel in April 2021, something like that. But well, we made it. So this is a little bit of a celebration. I got some whiskey ready and everything. And we're also going to talk about some books, of course. Also, I mean, can you guys hear me properly? Well, thank you, thank you. Just leave a comment if you guys hear me well. I did some, perfectly. Yeah, I did some tests this morning, and I think I accidentally posted one episode or something, but well, here we are. So 1,000 subs. Yeah, it's been one hell of a journey. It's just amazing. So let's crack open this one. So let's just hang a little bit and let's talk about books, drink some whiskey. So if you have any whiskey, do crack it open. Well. So I got a Lafroy from Scotland, of course, to celebrate this day. Oh well. Cheers, everyone. Thank you. You guys really made this possible, of course. I mean, without you, I would be nothing, really. So thank you. Cheers. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's so lovely. Oh well. So yeah, if you guys have any questions at all, just post it down below, and I'll try to address as many as possible. So yeah, I mean, I want to apologize a little bit in advance. I mean, most of you guys might know that English is my second language, so I might lack a little bit in fluency, if you know what I mean. I used to live in the US, but that was like 10 years ago. So, but I think it'll be fine. So, to today's subject, I got 7 books with me, and let's begin with a really classic one. Some of you might have read it. It is the one and only "Thus Spoke Zarathustra" by Friedrich Nietzsche. Well, yeah, this book, it really, I mean, yeah, it changed my life. The reason why I picked this one to begin with was that I would say it's not my first philosophy book that I read, but I would say it's the first philosophy book that really had a big impact on me. Because I think after I read this book, um, this is something, philosophy is something that I really want to continue with. So I was stuck after reading this book. And also, if you guys are not so, what do you say, used to reading like dry philosophy books, this is an excellent book to begin with if you're not used to that, because it's basically I mean, it's written in a fictional style, sort of. So it's a good one. Yeah, and it's in Friedrich Nietzsche, and I mean, he has impacted so many people's life. I would say, I mean, yeah, it's. I mean, his influence on the Western world is just immense, I would say. So yeah, that's a good one. Let's continue with the next one, and this one is something completely different. It's Pappan och havet, which is a book by the author Tove Jansson. She's a Finnish-Swedish writer. I think the original language is in Swedish, and it's not really a philosophy book, but I would consider it to contain a couple of deep thoughts at least. Tove Jansson is most famous for the Moomin stories, if you've heard of them, and this is one of them. And I would consider this one the best one. And those stories are considered children's books or children's stories. But this book, I wouldn't really say that it's a children's book, because it's pretty dark. Um, it's uh, it's about the father in the family, Moomin Papan. He basically has an existential crisis, uh, and yeah, it's a lot, has a lot of elements of existentialism in it, and yeah, the author Tove Jansson is great. Uh, just so I would really recommend to reading this one. It's a great book. I also have this one is more of a also Tove Jansson, Trollkarlens hatt. Hey man, thank you, thank you, thank you. Love the comment. Uh, sorry, I'll continue. So Trollkarlens hatt. This is a proper children's book. Still a great book though, but this one I would really recommend. I also made an episode about this one, um, at least some elements of it, and it's I think I changed the name recently on it, but it's something about the man crisis is on the thumbnail. So it has elements from this book. Like I said, it's a children's not a children's book. It's not a philosophy book, but like I said, contains pretty deep meanings within it. All right, so let's continue. The next book that I wanted to talk about was, oh yeah, um, actually, not too long ago, I think it's like 9 months or so, I took a beginner's course in formal logic. Oh, sorry. Oh, if here's a question. Can you draw any parallels from Tove Jansson's books to any philosophers? I mean, yeah, it was quite a while ago since I read what's it called, Sartre, but I do believe the whole uh, existentialism is applicable to her. And also, I forgot to talk about that. Like I'm not sure if Tove Jansson had read anything from Carl Jung. I myself haven't read Carl Jung. I hopefully will get to him someday, but I do believe that she's influenced by him because especially the characters are so archetypal. I mean, take the mother in the family. She's really an archetype of a mother, and likewise with the father. It's really, yeah, you guys know what I mean. An archetype. It's like the essence of a father or the essence of a mother. Um, so the characters are, yeah, archetypical. So was that answering your question? I think so. Well, Jung is more of a psychologist, right? But or a psychoanalyst, if I'm correct. But that's, I mean, the difference between philosophy and psychology and psychoanalysts are a bit vague, right? But okay, let's continue with the next book that I want to talk about. Like I said, not too long ago, I took a course in formal logic. Logic can be a pretty dry subject, right? But I just come to love it so much. And if you think about it, logic is, I mean, really the fundamentals of thought. Oh, here's another question before I continue. Yeah, maybe it speaks to universalism of or correctness. Oh, I can't really see correctness on Jung's idea. Yeah, definitely, I would say. Well, where was I? Thank you so much for the question. Please just keep them coming. It helps. So logic, yeah, like I said, logic to me at least is really the fundamentals of thought. If you don't have logic, can you even think about anything? And so to me, logic is the foundation where, I mean, any thought stands upon. So if you can improve your logical thinking, you're really improving everything. And that's why I think logic is really, I mean, logic is a subject within for itself, but there's a reason why philosophers have been developing it, because it's so important within philosophy. Um, so that's why the book that I've chosen next is this one. You can see it's pretty heavy, but is a great book on formal logic. And the reason why I picked this one, because like I said, these are books that changed my life. And after that course on formal logic, I mean, like I said, if you can improve the foundation of your knowledge or the foundation of your thought, you will improve the rest, right? So it really changed the way I look at every philosophical writing. Oh, let's see if I had some more answer. Yeah, thank you for all the um, what's it called? Like I'm going to lose lose so many words, but thank you for all the comments. That's the word. But yeah, if you guys are interested, if you want to buy this book, I just want to say a disclaimer. You have to, if this book, you have to buy it new. Otherwise, you won't be able to use the programs it comes with. Because you really need to do the exercises in this book to like fully grasp the logic within this book. But that's not. I want to ask you guys a question. Are you guys at all interested in formal logic? Because I was thinking maybe to do a small course on formal logic, just the basics or so. So if you guys would be interested in that, please leave a comment down below, because I would love to make it. Oh, more questions. Oh, that is a deep, yeah, deep comment. Hi, Pelle. Do you have any thoughts about Nietzsche's truths on drama and music, like Wagner's works? Oh, can I answer that question? Really tough question. I mean, I made an episode on. I mean, this really. The book that I'm thinking about is the. Do I have it here? Oh, what's it called? It's The Birth of Tragedy. Yeah, there he really talks about music and everything, arts and music, and he has the difference between the Apollonian and the Dionysian when it comes to art and music. The Apollonian, if I remember correctly, it was a while ago, is I mean, Apollo was the god of music, but also the god of logic, and the Apollonian is very. I mean, I would say Bach, Johann Sebastian Bach, is very Apollonian music because it's very mathematical. If you know what I mean, um, and the Dionysian, I mean, Dionysus was the god of music as well, because he's also pictured with a lyre, um, and also he was god of pleasure and music. So, I mean, the truth within that, yeah, I think if I remember correctly, Nietzsche really wanted the best piece of music or so is if you can combine the two. You need both of them, and it is also very. Nietzsche really loved Wagner because, at least in the beginning, they split. Um, um, I don't remember. Oh yeah, the reason why was for some reason. Yeah, Nietzsche was totally against the unification of Germany, and Wagner wasn't. It was something like that, if I remember correctly. But oh well. Yeah, but Nietzsche thought, at least in the beginning, that Wagner was bringing back the Greek tragedy, which um, Nietzsche thought that Socrates ruined, Socrates killed the Greek tragedy, while Wagner was bringing it back to life. If I remember correctly, I'm sorry if I got it wrong. It was quite a while ago since I read that book. But The Birth of Tragedy, that's a great book as well. If you're into Nietzsche, I would actually say that you should begin with that book, because the foundation of his thought he lays out um, in the Birth of Tragedy. Uh, yeah, really. I would actually say that's one of the most important books. It is his first major work, I believe, but and people don't really talk about it that often. But it's a great one. Let's see. Sorry, his thoughts. Not yeah. Did I answer your question? It was a tough question to answer, but great, great, lovely. Oh, where was I? I'll continue, but keep the questions coming. It's lovely, lovely. Okay, so logic. Let's move on. We got. Oh yeah. The next is actually two books that I want to talk about, and it's actually more of a subject, more rather than a specific book. Oh, if would you say that you like the god Apollo if he is the god of logic? Well, yeah, I would, but I mean, there is some truth to Nietzsche with the best form of music is when you unite the Apollonian spirits and the Dionysian. Because music, if it's only Apollonian, it becomes kind of dry, right? Best, yeah, we'll get to that. Best Greek god. But so if it's only Apollonian music, it becomes kind of dry, mathematical. Uh, I mean, Bach sorta is like that, but there is some spirit of the Dionysian within his music as well. Because there's so, I mean, take the Passions. What is it? Passion? Oh no, not Passion. Oh well, I mean, yeah, but if Bach's music really is Apollonian because it's so mathematical, but Bach was such a genius. I mean, he could just I mean, I think I saw a documentary on Bach, and some claim that the way his sheet music is written, it's just sort of like it flowed out of him. So you can't really say that it's only mathematical, because if it was, he would it would be like note for note. Oh, what note should be next in this mathematical sequence, and that's not the case. I mean, it really is. It's music just flowing from his pen. I mean, Bach. Will there ever be a musician as good as Bach? I highly doubt it, but he's just great. But like I said, I would probably like Apollo more, but the unification is the best. We really, yeah, that makes the best music. You want music that is some makes sense logically in a way, but still has that edge of drama to it, if that makes sense. Yeah. Oh, his question if I have a philosophy degree. Actually, no, I'm actually working on it at the moment. I'm writing an essay. I think it's called in English a bachelor's thesis. I'm writing a thesis on the laws of nature. If you might have seen, I put out an episode not too long ago about the laws of nature. Check that one out. Because basically that's me posting my research when my research for the essay. So it will come a couple of more episodes on that theme. So hopefully I will get my bachelor's degree soon. I'm not sure exactly when, because I mean this channel takes so much of my time at the moment. So, but yeah, so like I said, I'm working on it. It will come, and I really, I'm actually thinking of going the full way and actually maybe getting a doctor's degree. because I mean, this is basically my life now. And as you might have figured, music is always also a big part of it. But philosophy is kind of taking over at the moment. Oh yeah. Also on the question of the best Greek god, that is a tough one as well. I mean, while we're talking about books, I should excuse me. Uh, I'm just this is a recommendation. I wouldn't say that this book has changed my life, but Stephen Fry on the mythos. I've actually read all of those books in that series. This is just a lovely read. This is just amazing. So I would highly recommend that. On who's the best god? I mean, Apollo's up there. I mean, I think I'm gonna go with Apollo. Yeah, good book. I mean, I would actually. Stephen Fry is just such an amazing writer. If you haven't read any of his books, I highly recommend. I mean, I've only read these three, but they're amazing. Yeah. So I mean, let's continue. The next book, or yeah, like I said, the next one is actually two books, and they're more on a subject. Actually, that about a year ago, I think it was 10 months ago, I, for the first time, I heard about the subject of modality. If you don't know what modality is, it's basically whenever you have a proposition of the sort of, if this wouldn't have happened, this would have happened. Take, for instance, if the Germans won the war, we would all speak German. Is that proposition true, or is it false, or is it neither? Does it even have a truth value? Well, it actually has a truth value. I don't want to get into it that deep, but what it really is that when you ask that sort of question, you're posing a possible world. You're saying, oh, if this didn't happen, this would have happened. You're really saying, in this, there is a world in which this didn't happen. So, and then you're trying to figure out what would have happened instead. You get what I mean? But yeah, so it's a possible world, and this is called the theory of modality, or philosophy of modality. And there's especially two authors. Uh, Sorry, I'll get to your question soon. I just want to end this one. So it's firstly Naming and Necessity by Saul Kripke. This is a really good one. So this is actually a lecture series. It's 3 lectures. That is transcribed. So the language is really good and it just flows since it's spoken, right? Yeah, and this is tackling the theme of naming and necessity. What does it mean that something happens or is out of necessity? And then we have actually my favorite philosopher at the moment, David Lewis, on the plurality of worlds. This is a great book. I think I finished reading it actually just only a month ago or so. And actually, I would say, if you haven't heard of David Lewis, I would actually consider him one of the most important philosophers of the 20th century. He is just, I truly believe that the way we today talk about Immanuel Kant or uh, David Hume or Leibniz, I think in 200 years' time, people will probably talk about David Lewis in the same manner, if you get what I mean. He was just a genius. And he has influenced me a lot at the moment. And also, I think I will include a little bit. Yeah, I will include a little bit on him in a future episode on the laws of nature, because he's written extensively about that topic. But yeah, check David Lewis out. He's just one of the greatest. So, oh yeah, let's get to the question. Uh, that is really motivating. I am myself in the first year of my psychology degree, and your channel really helped me delve into philosophical aspects of life. Glad to hear. I mean, yeah, like I said before, the line between psychology and philosophy is sort of vague sometimes. I mean, I'm actually thinking about I should get a beginner's course in psychology as well at one point, maybe. That would be lovely. But what? Oh, the argument. Yeah, okay. Can you explain in short the argument of Lewis's book? Okay, so the thing with Lewis is that he's a genius. He was a genius, but he's sort of the mad scientist sort of genius. Because like I said before, when we're talking about, especially about modality, we're talking about possible worlds. And Lewis thought that in order to have a truth value about something that happens in a possible world, that possible world has to exist in reality. It exists in the same way that our world that we're experiencing at the moment, it exists in the same manner. So that is the main theme of this book. Uh, and the thing is, here's the crazy part of it. Uh, that means that we have an infinite amount of possible worlds. I mean, since we can talk about them, they exist according to Lewis. I mean, it's this crazy. Uh, there's a world where that is exactly like our world, except that I have one hair less on my head. So you have the basic idea is that you have an infinite amount of possible worlds, and that is just crazy. Like I talked about ontology a bit on this show, and what you the ontology basically explodes because you have an infinite amount of worlds. So that's why it's a little bit of a crazy idea. Uh, so that's why I would say that he's the mad scientist. But the thing with David Lewis is that it all makes sense, and he basically solves all of philosophical problems. If you just accept this crazy idea of the possible worlds, that they exist in the same manner as our world exists, uh, then he solves almost all of philosophical problems. Actually, there are different. I asked a professor of mine, and if I remember correctly, they are actually different, and that is crazy. Also, the crazy part, because if that interpretation of physics, oh yeah, I should say the question: does he draw on the multiple worlds interpretation of physics? No, they are different because uh, it actually the multiple the multiple worlds interpretation is within this world, but David Lewis extrapolates it to uh, an infinite world, an infinite amount of worlds. But let me see if I can distinguish it. I mean, the basic idea is that in physics, the those worlds exist within this world, while in Lewis's account, all the possible infinite worlds exist as well, but we can never get to them. They're different they're a bit different. I don't know. I don't think I can explain it more deeply than that. But that's to the best of my ability. I think that's the case. They're different, but it's amazing. Though I just love these ideas. They're crazy, they're really crazy. But I don't know. It's almost like you're reading a science fiction book. uh, but it's philosophy. Yeah. So yeah, and I, I I will get to this subject in upcoming episodes because I just love this subject so much. So you will see a couple of episodes in the future about the topic of modality. So we'll get to it more in detail. But so okay, so let's get to the next book, or actually two books as well in this one. So if you, I don't know if you've seen my episode. I made an episode not too long ago about oh, it was called something like Kierkegaard really changed my life. And since this is about books that changed my life, I at least I had to mention him as right. So I have these two books. These are the Swedish edition, Fruktan och bävan, which is Fear and Trembling, and The Sickness Unto Death, Sjukdomen till döds, by Søren Kierkegaard. I mean, if you haven't seen that episode, I mean, I was really being honest in that one. I think I would say that that episode is probably my most honest episode so far, because that what I spoke about in that episode actually happened at that very spot where I filmed it as well. So I don't want to bug you guys so much with the details, but also, I mean, also it's weird because a lot of people would consider the concept of anxiety to be Kierkegaard's best work, but I don't really agree. I mean, don't get me wrong. The concept of anxiety is a great book, but I would probably say that The Sickness Unto Death is the most important one from his works. It's a very tough read. It's not that thick. It's short, but it's probably the hardest book that I've ever read. Not now, but when I read it, it was the hardest book that I've ever read. I think I read it like 3 or 4 times before I made the episode on The Sickness Unto Death. But so yeah, I mean, do check out that episode. I mean, I have so many episodes on Kierkegaard on this show, so there's a lot to dig into there. Oh well. So did we have some more questions? Yeah. I haven't seen the Kierkegaard video. Has he changed your view of Christianity or of God? Both. Uh, really, especially it made me respect religion in a uh, more, made me respect religion more. I mean, I've never really been the atheist, I mean, militant atheist, Dawkins kind of guy, uh, but uh, but when I read Kierkegaard, I gained a deeper respect for religion as a whole, especially, I mean, the whole leap of faith thing. Yeah, I think you get what I mean. And it was, yeah, Kierkegaard. I would say that Kierkegaard is the philosopher that changed my life the most. Yeah, do check out that episode. It's yeah, it's like I said, an honest one. Does God exist? I, for most of my life, I've been agnostic about that. I don't. I can't answer that question really. It's a but nowadays when okay, if we would say that from 0 is being a Dawkins atheist, 100 is a religious fanatic, so 50 would be agnostics. I would probably put me more like maybe 60% or 60 or something like that. Uh, that's I think that's how far I dare to go. But I mean, there's so many in philosophy today, especially on the analytics side. on the analytic side of philosophy, most philosophers are, I would say, yeah, they're probably atheists, but I am not. I mean, because some of them don't even some of them don't even want to talk about uh, universals, and I'm not talking about even Platonic universals. They don't even want to put it. They don't even want to have Aristotelian universals within their ontology, which I am all for that. I'm probably more actually at this moment more of an Aristotelian universals realist. Many words there, but yeah. So that's where I am at the moment on the question if God exists. Uh, yeah, I hope that answers your question. Where was I? Oh yeah. So those were all the books of today that I wanted to talk about. And so now I just figured I might talk a little bit what's going on the channel. So like I said before, there will be a couple more episodes on the subject of laws of nature. It's a super interesting topic. If you haven't watched the first episode, please do. It's I just think it's an just a baffling thought that there is some truths which probably, at least I would say they are true throughout the whole universe, because that is a law of nature. I mean, at least to the best of our ability as humans, it seems as though the laws of nature is applicable throughout the universe. So that's the topic of on the laws of nature. So do check out the first episode, and there will be a couple of more on that subject. And also, I would really recommend you guys to watch the last episode I put out yesterday on trope theory. I would actually say that's probably, yeah, probably my best video so far. It is, because I not too long ago I heard about trope theory, and it's an amazing theory, but people don't really talk about it that often. So I really wanted to make like a really good video um, covering the topic of trope theory. So do check that one out as well. Oh, and also, I mean, you guys that have been following me for a while now, you know that I put out an episode on following the footsteps of great philosophers. The first philosopher that I did was Kierkegaard, like you might figure, and also the second one was Nietzsche, third one was Descartes, and the fourth one, which is the upcoming one, is on John Locke. So that will I think I got the book here actually. Yeah, here's John Locke, an essay concerning human understanding. A big one, and I haven't read all, but he's a great writer as well. I would really recommend John Locke. He's actually a really good writer for being, what is it, 17th century, 18th century. Oh well, doesn't matter. Really good writer. So then the next episodes that will be a deep dive in one philosopher will be on John Locke, and that will probably be out, oh well, probably this summer or something like that. It takes a lot of time in creating those episodes, as you might have figured out. I mean, reading this book, writing all the script for it, planning all the travel, etc., etc. But that will come out sometime this summer. So, I mean, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do, because that so you don't miss that, because that is always an event whenever I put one of those episodes out. And do check out the video on the life of René Descartes. That is, yeah, that is a good one. So, let's see, do we have any more questions? Trope theory is a cop-out. I might agree with you. But I'm not gonna talk too much about it. Check the video out if you haven't. Yeah, I'm traveling to the UK, so that will happen. I don't know when though, but hopefully it will be sometime in late spring or early summer. So that will happen. But oh well. Did I miss anything? No. Thoughts on Wittgenstein? Oh, yeah. I mean, before I read David Lewis, like I talked about before, I would actually consider Wittgenstein to be my most favorite philosopher. I have read him. Probably haven't understood all of his writing, but I mean, he was a mathematician and logician as well. And I have been planning. I mean, like I talked about before, these deep dives into philosophers. I will make a deep dive into Wittgenstein and make basically a documentary about his life as well. He is one of those one of my most important ones. One of my most favorite ones, because he kinds of he dwells somewhat in the middle between analytic philosophy and continental philosophy. I mean, nowadays I'm more into analytic philosophy, but I think there always will be a heart. I will always have a heart for continental philosophy as well. But Wittgenstein is just, yeah, because I mean the first book, Tractatus, is mostly like odd aphorisms, like Nietzsche almost. I mean, you have to do some interpretations, but he's just amazing. I don't know. Was it something specific you wanted me to say about him? How much autism did he have? Probably a lot. I heard a story about him. What was it? That he. I mean, first I know that for a fact that he went to the mountains in Norway and lived in a cottage for a while, only writing and reading, and it made him mad, basically. And also that uh, this was during the time when the First World War broke out, and he thought that was it. I don't remember the exact quote, but. The First World War for him was a relief because it gave him a reason to go to join the war, because he was actually, I think, planning to kill himself. So, yeah, he was probably super autistic. I would say. There's also another funny story where he pretty much beat up a student. He because he had a job as a teacher somewhere in I think it was just a small village in the Alps, and he basically uh, not molested. Is that the right word? He beat up a student that wasn't uh, behaving, probably. But yeah, I think he even got kicked out from the school after that. I'm not sure, but yeah. Still an amazing philosopher. I will get to him, definitely. Uh, any other favorite fictional works? Well, yeah, there's a lot. It's unfortunate nowadays, since I read so much philosophy, since I'm studying at the moment, and I'm producing episodes for you guys. Don't really have much time to read fictional works. But I mean, they're just on off the top of my head. Um, what was it? I mean, let's see. What's it called? Lord of the Flies. I mean, that's a good one. And there's so many. Let me just see. I have. Oh, there's just philosophy books here. Damn it. Oh yeah, I made an episode on. Oh, sorry. I mean, I just love Sherlock Holmes. I made an episode on Sherlock Holmes, like because he got some things wrong about logic. Uh, so check that what video out. But don't get me wrong, I love Sherlock Holmes. I think I've basically read all. This is the complete Sherlock Holmes works volume 1, but I don't think I have the second one. But I was, oh yeah. Here, oh, here I found some books. Here is Wittgenstein. This is the Swedish version of Tractatus. But also, this is also, I mean, we can always talk a little bit about Alice in Wonderland. Lewis Carroll. I've talked about him on this show as well. On the episodes on Leibniz law, I talked a little bit about Lewis Carroll because his real name is actually Charles Dodgson, and he was a logician and mathematician, which is really weird because I mean, you probably heard at least about Alice in Wonderland, and I mean the book is absurd, but I just love it. What else could I say? Yeah, there's another funny story about Charles Dodgson. I don't know if it's true, because I've heard that Queen Victoria loved this book so much that she asked Charles Dodgson or Lewis Carroll that he said, "Oh, you should dedicate your next book to me," and he said, "Sure." So he dedicated his book on what was it, mathematical logic to Queen Victoria, which is just I'm not sure. That is just something I've heard. It's a little bit funny. Yeah, Lewis. Yeah, I haven't. I should read some of his. I should make an episode on his logic. He's not so famous for his logic works on mathematics and logic, but there's probably something there, right? Do we have any more fictional books here that I can talk about? Yeah, probably, but I mean, yeah. When we talked a little bit about, about Sartre, right? I mean, here we have The Wall and Existentialism is a Humanism. That's not a fictional work. This one is, but and also the what is it called? Nausea. Great books. I mean, yeah. I mean, so these books really gave me an introduction into continental philosophy, and there's really something to Sartre and existentialism as a whole. But because I read Sartre first and then I read Kierkegaard, but I would say Kierkegaard is the shit when it comes to existentialism. He really pinpointed existentialism in a way that I thought it is the OG existentialist. Oh well. Do we have anything more? Oh well. I think that's good. Guys, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for watching. It's been really fun making this episode. If you guys if you enjoyed this episode, I mean, please leave a comment down below, and I might make some more live streams because this was kind of fun, right? Who killed Olof Palme? I cannot answer that question. I have no idea. Well, they said it was some guy, but I don't think people here even know who Olof Palme is. Maybe they do. I don't know. He was a Swedish prime minister a very long time ago. Doesn't matter. Well, I guess it does matter, but let's move on. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. It's been a pleasure, and I'll hope to catch you guys soon in a future episode. So thank you so much. Take care. Until the next one.